Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Neuse News Sports Show. I'm your host, Parker Mitchell, alongside me.
Laieke Abebe in for Graham Hill.
Yep, and today, we have a really interesting game, the ECC finishing up and moving on to state playoffs. Really exciting, interesting show we got for you. But first, let's get into the ads.
Yes, sir.
Lenore Community College Quick Job Program provides training so you can get to work in less than 6 months. And because LCC partners with area employers, you can not only find a job, but a lifelong career. Jobs currently in demand including heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, electrical wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding. Tuition assistance may be available as well as nationally recognized credentials. It's a new year and a new you. Let LCC employer empower you to get a new job and career you've always hoped for. To learn more about Quick Jobs, call 252-527-6223, extension 714, and enroll at lenorecc.edu/quickjobs.
And we'd also like to thank KC Crop Insurance. KC Crop Insurance is here to serve all your crop insurance needs. With over 50 years of combined experience, we take pride in excellent customer service. Give the KC Crop Insurance Service Team a call at 252-522-9613. That's 252-522-9613, and tell them Neuse News sent you.
And if you haven't subscribed already to the Neuse newsletter, then you're missing out. It's free and in your inbox at 7 a.m. and is full of today's headlines. Go to neusenews.com to subscribe.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive right into it. The ECC final or the two-way ECC final standings, I should say. You got West Craven and Washington, co-champs this year, both 5-1 record and an overall record. Both of them have an 8-3. I mean, that's pretty cool. This whole year has been really competitive with all the teams, 100%. And to see how it's kind of fallen out, not too many surprises here out.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Aiden Grifton, 4-2, 8-2 overall record. Kinston and North Lenore tied right now for fourth. Well, tied for good for fourth place. There's no more games going on. But both 3-3. Kinston has that tiebreaker beating North Lenore, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Kinston High 6-5 overall record. North Lenore 8-3 overall record. Then you have Green Central in sixth place. They're 1-5 in conference and 4-7 overall. Mm-hmm. And last place, South Lenore, 0-6 and 2-8 overall. What are some surprises with those final standings that you'd like to point out?
Honestly, I really don't see too many surprises. I mean, West Craven kind of sneaks up on you at the end there with a really good run, beating Washington, of course, to take a share of the conference championship. The Pan Pack, they've been really good all year. Outside of one half against West Craven, they probably would be the best team in the conference if they didn't have that bad first half. Aiden Grifton kind of struggled out of the blocks early a little bit. They started hitting their stride, won their last 4 games, I want to say. Is that correct?
Yeah, they won their last 4 games.
Yes.
They started off 0-2 in conference, so they really finished strong.
Kinston and North Lenore, of course, they tied. Of course, the 19-6 win over North Lenore for Kinston put them ahead in the playoff seeding. But still, we got to give North Lenore a lot of love. Tied the school record for wins, winning the Bragging Bowl against South Lenore. Oh, yeah. It was an incredible season for Coach Collins and the entire crew. And now they're into the postseason now. And for Green Central, going 4-7, I know it sounds tough because they're not going to make the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. But at the same time, Alan Wooten, when he started here at Green Central, went 4-7 in year 1, and so did Jay Wilson. I think they're going to be just fine, and I think South Lenore will be fine next year as well.
Yeah, exactly. With Jay Wilson stepping in, he stepped into a really competitive conference this year, so it definitely wasn't easy for him. Mm-hmm. But I think everyone kind of fell where they kind of deserved to be. Kinston, had a couple injuries. I know their star quarterback got injured as well.
Demetri Holmes.
Yeah, and
you gotta give Caleb Gooding credit. He stepped in and played really well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Finishing, tied for fourth place. But let's jump into this past week's games. Friday night, North Lenore played South Lenore at North Lenore. North Lenore won 62-20. With that, and like you mentioned, with that win, they've tied their school record for most wins in a season, and they actually have the chance to beat that record against South Granville this coming up week. But, we'll get to that when it comes around. But like I said before, or like you mentioned, Coach Collins coming in an 0-10 season, and just for the way he was able to turn it around this year, making it 8-2. I mean, that's something that's really impressive.
100%. Coach Collins, the entire staff deserves so much credit. Of course, I feel like beating Green Central to start the conference play kind of set the tone for them trying to build a foundation after a really tough struggle last year. But for them to pull off 8 wins, it doesn't matter what their schedule says. 8 wins is 8 wins, and I give them a lot of credit for it.
Exactly. It was kind of a rough ending to the season, but I think with that win over South Lenore on their senior night is really impressive. I know that whole team's proud of what the result was.
Definitely
Next, we got Kinston High versus Aiden Grifton. Aiden Grifton beat Kinston High 27-14 in their senior night as well. This was, the battle for third place in the ECC.
That's correct.
Just a pretty interesting way that Aiden Grifton's finished out, like we said before, finishing with those 4 games in a row that they've won. 3 of those actually being blowouts. Looking back on those games that they played, what do you have to say?
The Chargers had a really good run to end the year. Of course, you got to give a good shout out to Coach Cornwell and the entire staff. 19 consecutive years in the state playoffs. 8-win season. Michael Webb has been incredible. I believe he had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception defensively for the Chargers. So now they have a a really good matchup next week against Southwest Onslow.
Exactly, and we've already brought up so many points, but like we said, they start off 0-2 in conference, and just for them to turn it around the way they did with those big wins to finish out the season is really impressive. Next, we had West Craven at New Bern High School, a game I wasn't expecting to turn out the way it did. No offense to West Craven, but they beat their out-of-conference rivals 14-13.
In overtime, correct?
Overtime.
That's right.
Exactly. This is their 3rd year in the ECC. The first 2 years going 7-6, and now they finally kind of beat it out, going 8-3 here to finish out the season. Really impressed by how they finished out the ECC, or how they finished out the season. After losing to North Lenore.
Absolutely, beating a great New Bern team, by the way. I believe that New Bern team got the number 1 seed in the 4A East playoffs. So that's a huge overtime win for them. West Craven kind of sneaks up on you. Like they kind of go under the radar in the preseason, but all of a sudden you see them right near the top of the standings. So they deserve a lot of credit for finishing out, beating a great conference rival like Coach Tori Nolan and the New Bern Bears.
Exactly, and not only beating New Bern to finish the season, but the week before also beating Washington.
Yes,
and now
absolutely.
They're co-conference champs right now with Washington. Just really cool to see what's going on with that program and how young they are. I've noticed a lot of younger players.
They have a lot of really good athletes too. 100%.
Exactly. All right, and now we have another game from Friday night. Green Central at Washington. Washington defeated Green Central 28-8. I was expecting Washington to win and tie up with West Craven. Just a pretty interesting game. They secured it. They finished out the season strong. Again, it's been a tough season for Green Central, I think, after entering conference play. But really interesting.
Yeah, Green Central's run into some tough matchups here these last couple of weeks, but Washington, they deserve a lot of credit. They're going to be a high seed in the playoffs as well. They're going to be a tough out for sure. But I think Green Central will definitely be back next year after missing the playoffs. Coach Wilson, like I mentioned, he went 4-7 in year 1, and Alan Wooten, when he was at Green Central, started year 1 going 4-7. So I think they can only improve.
Exactly, and again, we've mentioned this year has just been a really good season for the 2A ECC conference. With all the competition, you have a bunch of different good teams. It's really fun to watch.
It's one of the more competitive conferences in North Carolina, not just in the East, the entire state.
Exactly. Now let's move on to Saturday night. Arundel Parrott Academy played against Grace Christian Raleigh. And we got to make sure we put in the Raleigh because, again, there's a bunch of Grace Christians. We talked about this before.
Yes, there's a whole bunch of schools called Grace Christian and Faith Christian and all this. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, whenever I was looking it up, getting ready for the game, which that was our game of the week this past week. And you were there too, right? I remember talking. Yep.
Yes, that's right. And you and Graham did such a good job at that game.
Thank you.
And the Grace Christian Christian folks really they ate up all the content. So definitely got to give them some love as well.
I was going to say, Isaiah Anderson, if you're watching this, we appreciate how nice you were. Dude, he's such a nice guy. But let's get back to this.
Was it 34-33?
34-33 win. Grace Christian beat Arundel Parrott Academy for the state championship. Faith has only had a football program for 5 years, and I did not know about that. And this is their first time in the state championship, and for them just to they're 1-0 right now. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Grace Christian deserves a ton of credit. They went up early. They went up big. They had a great play at the end of the first half that kind of gave them a 2-score lead. Then they went up 21 points, but Parrott, despite the injuries, all the adversity, they came roaring back. And, of course, the decision of the year of Matt Beeman, instead of taking the extra point, going for 2 and getting stuffed at the 1-yard line. It was just a crazy game and a great way to finish the 8-man football season.
Exactly, and I mean, got to give some props to Parrott. Like you said, they did come back there at the end. It was such a fun game to watch, and if you haven't watched it, it's on our YouTube channel, actually, youtube.com/Neuse News. You can find all of the games that we've done. But again, it was such a fun game to watch. And if I were in Beeman's shoes, I would have gone for 2 too. I'm just saying.
I agree with going for 2. Go for the win.
Exactly.
But you also got to shout out their senior group. Of course, Trey McLaughlin couldn't play in that game, but he's been such a star for them all year. But they're gonna have a good foundation. They have Morgan McFall coming back. They have Wilkes Thomas at quarterback, who's only a freshman. He played great. And I think they have a good foundation.
For sure.
And Coach Beeman and the Patriots will definitely be back next year.
Oh, yeah. All right. So now we're going to move up to the state playoffs. We have, I think, we got 5 teams going into state playoffs this year.
From the ECC, yeah.
Yeah, from the ECC. You got Kent, to begin with, Kinston at West Craven, and you'll be at that game.
Yep, I will.
But and be sure to check him out. # Neuse News Scores. He'll be posted up there, and we actually have Graham going to the North Lenore at South Granville game. So again, you go to # Neuse News Scores for all the updates on games that will be going on this Friday night.
Absolutely.
But like we said before, Kinston at West Craven. West Craven, like we've mentioned, they've been on this roll, finishing out really, really strong. Not only in conference, but that out of conference win, like we talked about just before. And in Kinston High, dealing with adversity this year with the injuries, kind of a lower seed going into the playoffs than what we expect, or what I expected. I thought they'd probably be a little higher up, but you can't help what goes down on the field. And
but nonetheless, I mean, the Vikings, this is still a good matchup for them. I mean, playing a in-conference opponent in the first round, I think they should be used to this by now. I mean, last year they played Aiden-Grifton in the first round. But this is going to be really competitive matchup. I could see it being a very low-scoring game where a defensive stop is going to win it probably. I think it's going to come right down to the wire, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, and this is their second time actually meeting up so far. The last game they played at West Craven, or Kinston played at West Craven, but lost 28-13.
That's right. Yes.
So, for my pick here, I think I'm going to just go with West Craven. Like I said, they're on a roll right now. They've done really good so far this year, and I think that whole young team that Twitchell's got over there is just going to keep on this roll. And I think they might take a pretty good dive into the state playoffs this year.
I actually agree. As long as they win this game here, I think they can make a deep run. But I'm going with the upset. I'm taking the Vikings in an upset here over West Craven. As long as this the things that they have to do, they have to run the ball effectively, stay ahead of the chains, play good defense. Yes, I agree with everything you said. If West Craven does win this game, I think they could go far in the playoffs. But I'm going with the upset.
All right.
I'm taking the K.
Let's switch it up a little bit there. I like it. All right, next we have Aiden-Grifton at Southwest Onslow. Southwest Onslow, 9-2 overall, 7-0 in conference, but they are in that 1A, 2A.
The Coastal 8, yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm going to go with Aiden-Grifton.
You're going with the upset. Okay, I see that.
Putting the record aside, I just think that Aiden-Grifton going into this game, like we've talked about, they've been on this really good run so far this season, or to finish out the season. And I think it's going to be hard to stop them and that offense that they have going on.
I actually agree with you. I'm taking the Chargers and Coach Cornwell. Southwest Onslow had a really good run into the playoffs last year. But I think that this year, the Chargers, the way they have fought back from the 0-2 start, playing against the ECC, I just have a feeling Michael Webb's going to run wild, man. I just feel like that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, okay. And then we got Nash Central at Washington. Nash Central. I can't get that out.
It's okay.
Finishing off the season 5-6 overall. Washington finishing 8-3. I'm giving this to Washington. I haven't, I don't watch a lot of Nash. I don't watch any Nash Central football, but Washington, they've had such a good season this year. They've had, almost every year, honestly. They've been up there at the top of conference, but I feel like we got to give it to them.
I actually agree. I'm going to go with the Pan Pack as well. Nash Central is coming off of a close loss in overtime to North Johnston, who has another first-year coach over there, Coach Barnett. I would say Washington should win this big. I think this is going to be a big night for them, and I think it could start maybe a deep run into the playoffs, maybe the regionals. Who knows? Maybe the states. Who knows? But I'm going to take the Pan Pack.
And another thing is too, they'll have a lot of home games if they do make it.
That's correct.
This will be a home game too, so you got that home crowd advantage going on. And I didn't mention it earlier, but West Craven's going to have that home field advantage as well. So for the teams that in our conference that are staying at home, they'll have that home field advantage, and I think that's why we're going to have maybe some deep runs from our conference into the state playoffs this year.
I 100% agree. I think that this conference, top to bottom, is one of the very best. Like I said, it's competitive, not just in football, but every sport, but especially football. I think playing against these teams playing against each other in conference prepares them so well for the playoffs, and I think I could definitely agree. But yes, I'm taking Coach Blank and the Pan Pack on that one.
All right, and next up we got North Lenore finishing with an overall 8-3 record at South Granville. Again, that'll be a game that we'll be covering on hashtag Neuse News Scores. Graham Hill will be there. He's gonna report that game for us, traveling with the team. This one's a hard one.
I know who you want to pick, but go ahead.
But North Lenore not finishing out the strong. Well, they had that win against South Lenore for senior night, but again, not finishing the best in conference, dropping those last 3 games there in the
until they beat
South Lenore. South Granville, I was checking them out prior to the show. They've gone 7 straight wins. I think they're kind of on a different pace right now. Gosh, come on, Parker. I just want to apologize in advance to everyone over at North Lenore.
Oh no, you're not.
I think South Granville. I'm gonna get beat up for that, but honestly,
no,
I just think South Lenore. South Granville has got it going on. Gracie's in the studio. I see her flipping out in the back.
Yeah,
too.
Gracie Herring is not having it from you, my man. But I actually think North Lenore's going to win this game. I think the Hawks playing against a South Granville team. I don't know if you know this, but last year they were undefeated in the regular season, got to host, and then lost their first game to Goldsboro. They play in a split conference themselves. I actually think it would be fitting if North Lenore won this game to break their school record for wins. It would just mean so much to Wheat Swamp, to Lenore County, and I think they're going to get it done. They've been doubted just about all year, but I think they're going to get this job done.
Especially going right into conference. I remember everyone was players.
People were saying schedule this, schedule that. They won their games. They took care of business.
Exactly.
I think they're right where I thought they would be, really.
If we're going off the team I want to win, I want North Lenore to win. All right, I really do. But I feel bad because I feel like I'm doubting them. But I just think South Granville, with the run they've been on, like I mentioned. Now I want North Lenore to get to 9 wins. Let's make that clear. I want them to win, but I'm just going off of what I've seen so far. But I just think those senior leaders, Chris Russell, Filippo Sualavi, I don't think I said that right. I couldn't remember.
I can't say his last name right, but those two are going to play a huge role in this game. Najee Kush and Jaden Kirkpatrick. will play a really big role in this game. I think they just have to take care of the football, have those long drives like they do with their new offense, the wing T, like a 15-player, like 80-yard drive. It takes maybe 9 minutes. Like they're gonna have to continue to do that, and I think they can. I really believe they could beat South Granville.
They could, I feel like I'm in such a bad situation now.
No, you're
calling
good.
out
You're
North
good.
Lenore.
You're good.
But
You're
no,
good.
I mean, if they really can't get the ball running like they have against, like we mentioned before, they played West Craven. They beat West Craven.
That's a
early in
game.
conference.
That's a blueprint that they're gonna have to use. That game right there.
Exactly. I see them maybe. Gosh, I'm gonna shut up.
See
I'm
now
gonna
that
shut
you
up
went,
now.
yeah, you're just gonna.
I'm gonna shut.
See, now that you said that, now you're going to get the people angry. See, the people in the studio back there,
Grace is
they're
already
not
mad at me.
Yeah, they're not. See, and Naja's not having it either.
Oh my gosh! All right, but I think I might regret that decision. I might regret that decision.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, truth be told, I'm really excited for these playoffs. I think that the ECC will have a really good showing here. Playing, like I said, playing against each other. The coaches in this conference, I don't know a better set of coaches in any conference, like top to bottom. Even the teams that didn't make the playoffs, like Coach Joyner, Coach Wilson, I think the world of all 7 of these coaches, and I think that they're going to have a great showing, the 5 that are in.
Exactly, and something I actually wanted to bring back up, we didn't talk about Grand Central being their final game in South Lenore.
That's correct.
But again, this was Jay Wilson's first year in this conference. Not the best year to start in this conference, just because of how competitive it was.
It's a gauntlet.
But
every week, like offensive coordinator Perry Owens for Washington always says, it's a 1-touchdown league every week. Pretty much that's what it was for the most part.
Exactly, and just how mixed up it's been. I always bring up North Lenore, but North Lenore beating West Craven, but West Craven going and beating Washington, but Washington beating North Lenore. Just like that perfect little square right there, a triangle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of
I mean, 80 Grifton too. That 0-2 in conference to the third seed. I mean, I think they're just consistent winner every year. I mean, Coach Cornwell is just churning out wins with what he has. He's going to need Josh Wright to step up in a big way. He has to take care of the ball, their quarterback, of course, and just get the ball to Michael Webb, let him go, because that's what he does. He's a bad man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and then going to South Lenore, they've been kind of beat up this year, like we talked about. But they're a really young team. I think
they have a very bright future. Yes,
exactly. Because I remember Coach was telling us, with those injuries, you got a lot of younger people stepping up, playing in positions they never played before. And I think if not next year, maybe the year after that, 2 years from now, I think that's when that'll be when this team really steps up in the ECC.
I definitely agree with that, yes.
But that'll be all for the show. We're going to run through. We want to thank our tech team back there, producers. We got Najee Cobb and Dr.
Another
Travis
North Lenore
Town.
guy, Dr. Town. Thank you, fellas.
And let's run
there
through
they
these.
are. You see
there
them?
we go. There we go.
What's up,
Yeah,
fellas?
all right. So let's run through these ads one more time.
Yep, let's do it.
Lenore Community College's quick job program provides training so you can get to work in less than 6 months. And because LCC partners with area employers, you can find not only a job but a new lifelong career. Jobs currently in demand include heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, electrical wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding as well. Tuition assistance may be available as well as nationally recognized credentials. It's a new year and a new you. Let LCC empower you to get the job and career you've always hoped for. To learn more about quick jobs, call 252-527-6223, extension 714, and enroll at lenorecc.edu/quickjobs.
We'd also like to thank KC Crop Insurance. KC Crop Insurance is here to serve all your crop insurance needs. With over 50 years of combined experience, we take pride in excellent customer service. Give the KC Crop Insurance service team a call at 252-522-9613. That is 252-522-9613, and tell them Neuse News sent you.
All right, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Neuse newsletter, then you're missing out. It's free. It's in your inbox at 7 a.m. and full of today's headlines. Go to neusenews.com to subscribe. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Here I got my guest host with me, Laieke Abebe. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.
See you later.